The recent elections have revealed something very profound in this country. A silent majority has become very vocal this round of elections. Through their votes, people have declared that they have had enough of these agendas that constantly get pushed down our throats, and they're yearning for a return to more conservative and traditional values. For us men, this is our call to action. It's time to start fighting back against the blatant attacks that we've experienced over the past 4 years and beyond. It is our duty to help drive the return of these conservative values that our country is currently screaming for.
Leaders are not born in a womb. They are forged through heat, pressure, and a whole lot of sweat. The Fire Forged Leader podcast serves the audience through exploring leadership at work, in the community, and with the family, using a practical perspective and real-life experiences from the host, Steve Baumgartner, and his guests in the Forge. Now, it's time to enter the Forge with the Fire Forged Leader.
Elections are not just political events. They are cultural feedback. The recent outcomes show a rejection of these hyper-progressive ideologies, and they show us a longing for traditional values. Now, you guys know me. I don't get into politics much on the show. But in this masculine leadership series, I think it's very pertinent to discuss the cultural shift that we're seeing in this country. While some people are out there blaming women, dumb women, I think is what they call them, or telling voters that they are trash, the fact is that the people, they want change. As men, let's go out and let's create that change that they desire. Now, before I really get into this, let's talk about the election a little bit, right? The presidential election. Trump won this election by a huge margin. He had 312 votes while Harris camp had 226. That's a margin of 86 of these votes. If you put that in a percentage, it is 32% of the required votes to win. And hell, if you look at it side by side, he got 116% of all the votes. Now, this isn't about Trump, it's about the cultural shift. And that follows through the entire gamut. The Senate, red walked away with 53, while blue had 47. The House, it was 218 versus 213 in red's favor. And the governors even flipped over, with red being 27 and blue being 23. Now, let me reiterate, this is not just about politics. It's about our culture as a country, our identity as a country. And leaders must recognize this cultural undercurrent that we're currently in. And more importantly, we leaders need to respond to it. The cultural pendulum swings back and forth. And sometimes it gets very extreme on both sides of the fence. And when one extreme dominates, society naturally seeks some sort of equilibrium. Now, masculine energy, okay? Masculine energy, not what they've told you on TV for the past 4 years, but true masculine energy that's rooted in strength, responsibility, provision, protection, all those things. It's essential for the balance right now. Now, I want to make a little bit of an analogy here. When I look at this resurgence of people, the traditional values and really desiring this need for true masculinity, it's like the tide reclaiming the shoreline. Masculine values like courage, discipline, and integrity, They're all returning to stabilize the erosion that's been caused by the blatant abuse of men in the recent years. So, as leaders, we need to embrace and model certain values. We need to stand firm. We need to lead with purpose. And we need to mentor others along the way to do the same. This return to conservative principles isn't just about politics, it's about grounding society in timeless truths. Principles like family, discipline, hard work, they resonate now more than they have over the past however many years. So, what I want you to do, man, is embody these values that we talked about. Embody them in your family, in your workplace, and in your community. This is our time. Leadership starts at home, but it ripples outward to entirely shape society. Society is rejecting these extreme ideologies and they're leaning into traditional values. Masculinity, when properly channeled, is a force for the stability and growth of our country. And masculine leaders, we must rise right now to fill this leadership vacuum. This is the time for masculine leaders to rise, not to dominate, but to lead with strength, to lead with responsibility, compassion, and vision. These are the traits that build strong families, stable communities, and a future that we can be proud of. How are you showing up in your life today? Which of these traits do you need to cultivate further? Now, here's my challenge for you today. I challenge you to step into this role. The world is crying out for our masculine leadership, and it starts with you. So I challenge you to show up strong, to show up with purpose, and together we're going to build something extraordinary. So I'd like to thank you once again for joining me on this episode of the Fire Forged Leader podcast. If you found this discussion valuable, please go out there and share it with your network and leave me a rating and review. And don't forget to smash that subscribe button. Until next time, I want you to keep forging your path with purpose and passion.
You have just experienced the heat and pressure of the forge. Remember, words without action are meaningless. Now, after the heat of the forge, shape your thoughts, quench your brain, then put your new tools to use, adding to your leadership. Tune in next week for more lessons from the forge.